So at Mingo, we're working to educate girls and actually all young people across the United States about the realities of the child sex trade. There's so often a glamorized image of prostitution in the media. For example, 50 Cent has a YouTube video called Pimp, and it has over 50 million views. And it really gives off this over-sexualized image of girls and makes child prostitution look a lot more glamorous than it is. And in reality, the child sex trade is an important issue in the United States and is very serious.
So Allison, what inspired you to do the great work you're doing?
I got involved because I was inspired by older students who had gone to my school actually, who had started Mingo when they were very young. And to really see that young people were making a change was so impressive to me, and I wanted to get involved. And from there, I expanded my public policy work. Actually, I got involved in education reform because I wrote a letter about how students should have a voice to Time, and they published it, and I was so grateful to be given a voice that I decided I wanted to give other students a voice. So it's very much been some luck, but also having right role models.
And how big of an issue is it in the United States?
We do know that there are children involved in child sex trade across the United States, and it's becoming an issue that's coming more and more into the spotlight. However, most people still think about the child sex trade as an issue in Southeast Asia.
And what does Mingo, what is the overall goal? What would you like to accomplish as an organization?
We would like to create a shift in the way the media handles the child prostitution and overall the image of girls, so that the realities of the sex trade really are known, especially among my generation, so that we don't become victims and abusers.
And what happens to a young girl if she is a victim and is found, if she has run away from home and then she is found? What happens to a young girl in the United States?
Well, in Southeast Asia, most girls are sold into prostitution by their families or are kidnapped. It's very different in the United States. You don't hear about kidnappings very often. What happens more often is a pimp will befriend a girl and then become her boyfriend, and then he'll buy her expensive gifts and she'll move in with him. And eventually he'll say, look, I've been providing so much for us, but I really need a bit more money so I can keep up this flow of things for you. Will you just this once do me a favor and sleep with this man? And because she feels he loves her so much, she'll do it, and then it becomes a cycle, and at that point he's really become her pimp.
And do you think that a nonprofit should be and can be sustainable?
I think that in the 21st century, nonprofits really have to work with business plans to become sustainable. I'm not sure that the fundraising and charity donation-based model is going to be able to continue for a very long time. The idea of social entrepreneurship is a very lucrative idea, and it has been shown to work. I think it's going to be a growing field, and a lot of people who really want to make change but also want a more stable career are going to go into it.
What is your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge personally, the biggest challenge is probably balancing everything. It's very hard to be a full-time student and to balance everything else. It takes a lot of organization, time management. You have to always remember to have some fun. But in terms of our work, like Mingo's work, our greatest challenge is actually the over-sexualization of girls in media. For example, the documentary Misrepresentation really shows that there's this image of girls, and often it leads to girls having less self-respect, and that can lead to them being coerced into child sex trade or more likely to become victims.